Hi folks, Gabe here with Backwoods Pursuit, bringing you another backcountry gear review. Today we are looking at the Sitka Alpha Fleece. This is the hoodie version. We also have the jacket version. We're going to compare the differences between these two, as well as where this fits in the Sitka lineup, whether you're looking at the Jetstream or the Traverse or some of the other layers and pieces that I've personally used and tested from Sitka. We're going to help you decide where this fits in that lineup to see if the Alpha Fleece is right for your kit. Also going to look at the fit and some of the functionality and features that I have used and appreciated, and some of the things that I didn't love as much about the Alpha Fleece. I'll put a link to the Alpha Fleece down in the description so you can check it out for yourself, as well as a link to our website, backwoodspursuit.com, where we have a ton of gear reviews. Let's get started. All right, first, before we get into some of the functionality, let's look at some quick specs here. The Alpha Fleece in the hoodie comes in at 20.1 ounces, and the jacket version comes in at 20.5, so just a 0.4 ounce penalty for the zipper, which I do like the zipper. It makes it easier to take on and off and to layer underneath if you need to. The hoodie version, though, is easier to layer over the top of, because you don't have a little bit of extra bulk with the zipper, but they're very, very similar in that regard, and they fit slightly different, which we'll cover in just a moment. Now, when compared to the Traverse, this is the non-hooded version of the Traverse. This comes in at 26.1 ounces, so you do have about a 6 ounce penalty there versus the Alpha Fleece, and the Jetstream comes in at 26.5 ounces, so a little bit heavier yet. Now, as far as fit, we just mentioned, these are all very much true to size in their fit. The Alpha Fleece allows you to layer underneath very well. You can easily do roughly 2 base layers underneath this without feeling like you're taking up too much space or it gets a little tight on you. And so for me here, these are all size larges, and that's what I just based the weight off of, that size large. And they all fit true to size. However, I would say that the Traverse here is on the tighter side of that fit. So I would say that the fleece here, the Alpha Fleece, fits a little bit more loose than the Traverse. So if you don't like the fit of that Traverse, it's a little on the tight side, at least for me. The Alpha Fleece is a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more room there to layer underneath if needed. Now, as far as where this fits in the layering system, one side note to that, the Alpha Fleece is very nice for layering over the top of. Because of this material is a little bit slick, it makes it very easy to put something over the top of it if you need to. It makes it very easy in that regard, but also the inverse of that, the interior being a fleece here, makes it a little more difficult to slide over the top of something like a merino. Merino tends to stick a little bit more to a fleece material like this, so you tend to have to fight it just a little bit. If you've ever layered over merino with something like this, then it tends to be a little bit of a challenge to not have your material bunch up on your base layer, but it's not too bad, but it is something to consider. Now, on that note, the warmth to weight ratio with the Alpha Fleece is much better than the Traverse or the Jetstream. It is really designed more to be a multi-function type of layer that can be used as that mid layer or even an outer layer, but you are going to save a significant amount of weight for a very similar warmth to the Traverse and the Jetstream. Again, I would say this is every bit as warm as the Jetstream, save for those situations where wind might rip through this more so than the Jetstream. It doesn't provide quite as much, the Alpha Fleece doesn't provide quite as much protection from the elements, but it saves you that extra weight, and it's great for a backpacking style trip where you need to save some weight, save some bulk, save some space in your pack, but you still want that warmth. I would consider the Alpha Fleece to be a little bit warmer than the heavyweight hoodie while offering a little bit more protection. The heavyweight hoodie is a piece I love, and it offers a great warmth to weight ratio as well, but it doesn't give you the protection that the Alpha Fleece gives you. This is a DWR treated 4-way stretch material that is really, really durable. That's where this excels. And it gives you a similar warmth to both the Traverse and that Jetstream there without the bulk and the weight. So it's an excellent piece, but not quite as warm as the Traverse, a little bit warmer than the heavyweight hoodie. Now, if you find yourself asking which of these Alpha Fleece pieces is going to best fit you, a couple of main differences here. One being, of course, the full zip in the front in the jacket style. This makes it a little easier to take on and off, but it does add a little bit of bulk because of the zipper and a little bit of weight. The jacket version here also has a different pocket construction. That's the other main difference. It's a little bit more like your typical jacket where it just has a zippered pocket there. Whereas on the hoodie version here, you have a kangaroo pocket in the front. So zippers on both sides, but that pocket is just one larger pocket where it is there's a kangaroo style there, just like your hoodie or whatnot, your cotton hoodie. So some people are going to like that and some people aren't, but it does help in the fit with this particular piece because there is not that zipper that goes down the middle. Now, the other minor difference that I noticed is I felt like the jacketed style here was a little bit more roomy in the fit. I felt like, at least it could just be a perception, but that presence of that zipper added a little bit of extra room in the front of the jacket. So a little small difference there, but otherwise the identical pieces here both fit great, both fit very true to size and allow for layering underneath. Now for some best uses. Now I found that the Alpha Fleece here breathes okay, not great as you would expect. A fleece is not really designed to be highly breathable like your merino or something of that nature, but it did okay. It wasn't too stuffy if you get working and hiking hard. It breathed a little bit, not great, but better than the Traverse, better than the Jetstream. So keep that in mind as far as when you're going to be using this. It is a great second layer, but doesn't breathe as well as, say, a merino second layer that is merino wool. So it's going to do better in some other situations because it's going to give you more protection from the elements, but not breathe quite as well. The other aspect here to consider is that even though this is a mid layer, there is a little bit of noise that's not as quiet as the Traverse. So you have a little bit of that, the noise where I might not want to use this in an archery situation where you can get really up close to those animals and want to be deadly silent. So it gives you a little bit of that noise when it rubs together. It's not bad. It's not nearly as bad as some of the puffies out there or even some of the puffies that Sitka has. So it certainly can work for that, but you do get a little bit of that swoosh when the material rubs against itself. It does get a little better with washing, but it's still there and not a totally silent piece. So when would I use the Alpha Fleece? For me, this is going to be a great outer layer for early season where it's going to really be the only piece you need to take, where you really don't want to take a puffy. You don't need to take a puffy because that's going to be too much warmth, especially early season, maybe early September. But you still need something to protect you from the elements and give you a little bit of warmth. It's fantastic for that. Also would be using this for a mid-season mid layer where you can have the ability to wear, this might be something you wear while you're hiking, getting up the hill, but then once you get up the hill, you want to put something over the top, maybe a puffy or a Jetstream or something of that nature that's going to protect you more from wind or some of that cold air that might be at the top of the mountain. So that's where I see this being best use. It may fit some other places as well for you, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Alpha Fleece, where it might fit in your kit, and if it's even something you would be interested in taking a look at. I'll put a link to these in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. And we love helping if we can. Drop any questions or comments. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.